Welcome to Olam News. Today is a wonderful day here in the Denver Metroplex. Temperature is mid 50s. Yesterday we had snow. Things seem to be a little out of sorts weather-wise. So we've been bundling up, and as you can see, the sun shining on my face, that the sun is coming out and it's going to be warming up for the rest of the week. In a few days, the 19th and the 20th of September, will be Rosh Hashanah. The day, as we have it passed down through transmission, is the day the world was created. And every day this month, the month of Elul, determined by the cycle of the moon, we blow the shofar to remind us that the day is coming. The shofar that we blow reminds us that the day is coming, and also reminds us how to prepare for the day of judgment. The day of judgment being Rosh Hashanah. And in a previous Olam News session, we learned that the day of Rosh Hashanah is a day that not just the Jewish people are judged, but the entire world is judged. Every individual is judged. And we must prepare this month to enter into that day on the right foot, on the right note. So this whole month, we blow the shofar. The shofar reminds us of the ram that Avraham, took instead of his son on the altar on Mount Moriah. The gist of that story is to be taken very seriously as preparation for our day to come as a people. The day that comes on Rosh Hashanah this year, the 19th and 20th of September, starting the 18th, the night before, with sunset, starts the day. This day brings blessing for the whole year to come, or God forbid, the opposite of blessing. We've had a tough year. Can't say it hasn't been a good year, because everything we go through helps us hopefully learn to improve ourselves and to think more about how are we affecting the world. So I can't say that it wasn't a good year. I can say it was a good year. But I can say it was a tough year. And this year to come is going to unfold from Rosh Hashanah. This shofar that we blow on Rosh Hashanah reminds us of the ram that Avraham, our forefather, took instead of his son on the altar. The lesson of the story is like this. Avraham, or transliterated into Abraham, headed towards Mount Moriah, as God had come to him in a prophecy to head towards the mountain. When he got to the mountain, he realized his next prophecy, that he was commanded to do something that seemed totally against the nature of Abraham, of Abraham. Abraham's greatness was that he had a tent, and his tent was open on 4 sides, 4 doors, and every door you could see out of, and he would invite guests into his home to eat and then to bless God after eating, thanking God for the food that he provided. And so Abraham's greatness, his quality, rested in his kindness. And so Abraham was commanded by God to take his son Isaac, Yitzchak, onto the altar, something totally against his nature, and to overcome kindness and to enact gevura, a sense of might, with the intention of fulfilling the commandment of God. It didn't seem to make sense to Abraham, to Avraham, yet this was a prophecy that Abraham had. And so he knew that this is what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to take his son Isaac, Yitzchak, onto the altar and to bind him on the altar and to what he thought offer him up as a korban, as a sacrifice, which was totally against the nature of Abraham, of Abraham. Our greatness lies in going against our nature, my friends. Your nature, our nature, may be to be kind, but not to be too kind. Kindness is incredible. But there has to come a point where, when teaching our children, we need to be firm at points in order to gently and firmly get education across to the next generations. And so that might of giving that education and putting our foot down in certain places very, very carefully into the right places, and that's how important it is and how much we care about our children and their future and the future generations that we will leave here on this earth to take care of each other and to take care of the earth. The education is so important that we must be very careful in the firmness against the nature of our kindness. And some of us have the nature to be firm and to be strict. To overcome that, we need to be kind against the nature of strictness, in order to carry out the will, the commandments of God, and to show good character traits, to show good midot in Hebrew. And so these struggles we have going against our nature is what brings incredible things to happen in the world. And to show an example back to Rosh Hashanah and the shofar. We go back to the ram, that Abraham found instead of his son on the altar. Abraham brought his son onto the altar. He brought him up to the altar, and he bound him as commanded, as prophesied. And once he prophesied, and he fulfilled the prophecy as God had intended, the next step was, would Abraham go against his nature and follow the will of God? Totally against Abraham's nature, he took a knife, raised his hand, and as he raised his hand, going against his nature to fulfill the will of God, the prophecy, only through prophecy did Abraham decide to go and do such a thing. We can ask, how can Abraham do such a thing to his son, or even think that this is what God would want? Well, the whole purpose of this experience that Abraham had was to show God that he was willing to go completely against his nature and to do a mighty act against kindness, against his nature, to follow God, to show trust and faith in God. And so Abraham showed faith and trust in God, and he lifted his hand. And just then, an angel called to him from heaven and said twice, Abraham, Abraham, Avraham, Avraham, do not touch your son with that knife. Abraham put the knife down, and in the bushes nearby, God had brought a ram. And in the bushes, the ram was stuck. And Abraham knew that God said, this ram will be a sign for you, Abraham, that in the future, when you blow the shofar, you remember how to create a world of spirituality, a world of family and students that follow the will of God, follow in the footsteps of Abraham, of Abraham, and to go against one's nature. And we all have different natures. One person has a nature to be kind, another to be cruel, another to commit murder, God forbid, another to commit adultery, God forbid, another to worship idols, God forbid. And yet, when we go against our nature, we follow in the footsteps of our ancestors, of our leaders, to be showing the ways of God in the world, then we become the greatest servants, and we tap in to the greatest blessings that will unfold in the year to come, from Rosh Hashanah into the next year. The day of Rosh Hashanah is our chance to show God, our Creator, our Master, the ruler of the universe, the ruler over all occurrences that have happened over the last year, to show our universal leader that we are willing to serve you. And when we do that on Rosh Hashanah, the blessings will unfold and the good will return and more good will come. So that on the 18th, the night of the 18th, when the sun sets, remember the ram of Abraham, of Avraham, and on Rosh Hashanah, we will blow the shofar. And we will say, we are ready to go against our nature, God, to serve you. And there, in that struggle, according to the struggle, is the reward, my friends. According to your difficulty in the struggle is your reward. Overcome. I am with you. I pray for you. I hope for you. We are with you. We are together in this, overcoming our natures, overcoming our struggles, and according to the struggle, and when we overcome the struggle, is the reward, my friends, and is the blessing. And let the blessing unfold. Let it come to you. Let it unfold to you, to your family, to your friends, to the world in the year to come. Go against your nature and let the struggle reap the blessing when you overcome that struggle into your life, into our life, into the world's life. We can do it, my friends, starting the night of the 18th, into the 19th, into the 20th, through the 20th, into the nightfall of the 20th. Remember, Rosh Hashanah is coming. Prepare now and get ready to be the best servant you can. Overcome your challenges. Overcome your nature. And there will be the blessing we are all looking for. Please God. And as we hear the Rosh Hashanah come, as we hear the shofar blow, let us prepare as we can every day as we wake up and every day as we go to bed, reflecting on how we've improved, how we've overcome our struggles, our nature, to serve God, to follow his commandments, and to be the best we can be. I wish you all the best in your lives and in your endeavors. May you be the best you can be, and may you be given the strength to overcome, and may we all be happy together. Thank you.